Welcome to the Joy Revival podcast, where faith, neuroscience, and creativity meet. Here, you will find encouragement for your journey, hope for healing, and inspiration to create in freedom. Joy is a sign of a heart that is free, and in Jesus, joy is your inheritance. Welcome back to the show. I'm Allie. I'm your host at the Joy Revival podcast. And y'all, I had something really cool happen. Starting to mentor with Rita Springer. Yes, like the Rita Springer, the songwriter who is so talented. Her music has blessed my life for so long. And there's this thing happening with my music, my songs. She had offered up some mentoring spots for songwriting, and I signed up immediately. I was really nervous in our first session, and you know what? We didn't talk about songwriting at all. She asked me a question that has changed my life from here on out, and I'm so thankful that she asked me this question. The enemy looks at your gifts every single day and he'll walk past them. It doesn't matter. He sees gifts all the time, but you need to ask yourself why he keeps circling this same one area of your life since you were a kid. The places the enemy has hit hardest in your life, it's like big arrows to the thing that you were created to burn for. And that was her question to me. It was, what do you burn for? And this was such an interesting question for me. And I had to sit a long time. And she said, she's like, most of you kids don't know what the answer is right away. That's what she said to me. She said, I'd have to sit with Jesus in secret place and ask him. And I journal a lot. And it took 4 days of me sitting with the Lord and asking the Lord, what do I burn for? The first thing that I thought it was I burn for truth. And I love that verse from Jeremiah. It's 20 verse 9, that there's a fire shut up in my bones. And that's like that burning. What is the thing that you burn for? And when I was going through this process, I thought that I burned for truth. My name means little truthful one. And I have been lied to a lot in my life. So I thought maybe I burned for truth, because you always want to reverse engineer, right? Look back and see what it is that you've been attacked in over and over again. And the Lord's like, no, go deeper. So I went deeper and I found out what I burn for. I burn for freedom. I love being in a state of freedom. I think this is why I do abstract art. It's so free. There's no lines other than the line I will mark through on something. That's just a wild line. There's no coloring inside the lines, if you will. I love freedom in my life. I long to see women set free. That's the reason why I created the Joy Revival, is I wanted to encourage women into freedom. I love freedom in my music. Some of my favorite times in worship were when we would have just a progression going. We'd have a foundation, a musical foundation, and I would just freely sing out words, sing the song that the Lord gave me for his people. And it was made up on the fly. I say made up, but it was what I heard fresh. And it always bore good fruit. It says that wisdom is justified by her children. You've got to see the fruit of something. And the fruit of those moments were always good. It always produced good fruit. So freedom is what I burn for. And now that I know that, I can see all the places in my life where the enemy has tried to keep me bound. And you know what he's tried to keep me bound with? Fear. Oh my gosh. When you figure out what it is that you burn for, you will know then the enemy's hand. The Lord will just expose his strategy. It's to keep me bound, and specifically in fear. And everybody burns, y'all. Everyone's going to burn. You know why? Because God is a consuming fire. It says that in Hebrews. He's a consuming fire. We're made in his image. We're going to burn too. And here's the cool thing about fire. Okay. If you were on the highway, this has happened to us several times, and it's really sad actually, this when it happens. But if you're on the highway and you're driving down and you see a big pillar of smoke, nobody has to announce a fire. You just see the smoke from the burning and you're curious, what's that? What's going on? Where's that coming from? I mean, there's been times where my family, one time we went and found a genesis of smoke. Where did it start from? Because it was such a thick, big pillar of smoke. Nobody has to announce a fire. It just is. It's just burning. You can smell the smoke like anytime, right? That's also interesting to me too about the smelling thing, the olfactory glands. When I was outside the other day and I smelled smoke and I'm like, where's that coming from? So it's all pointing back to the burning. And the enemy's whole strategy is to keep you an ember. It's to keep you from burning. It's to keep you just warm enough that you feel a little something, but not on fire. And in the word, it says that we're a city on a hill. Matthew 5:14, Jesus said this, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor does anyone take a lamp and put it under a basket." We need to shine bright for Jesus. We need to burn for Jesus. So of course the enemy is going to keep you from burning. And for me, again, that was fear. Fear that I was not going to be okay. Fear that I wouldn't have enough money. Fear that my marriage was going to fail. Fear that my children weren't going to end up working out. So much fear. And fear, I've said this so many times in the past, is oftentimes a belief. It is a lie that we're agreeing with. This happened today. Now that I know that I burn for freedom, it will give you this holy awareness. I have a zeal now that I did not have before. That was worth every penny. Just that one question that Rita asked me. I mean, we have more sessions. I'm going to get some great songwriting advice, but just that one question just changed my life. And now I'm so aware at this fear game that the enemy tries to play with me. And it happened this morning. I'm not exempt from being ensnared by the evil one. This morning, I had my business coach did a shout out for me, which was a big deal. I needed to put a hi, this is who I am on my new account. For fear of not doing it in time, I came into my office first thing in the morning instead of my Jesus chair. That never happens, ever. And did I not just say, you have to protect the secret place? I went back to my Jesus chair, but with conviction from Holy Spirit. It was like an hour, and the Lord so firmly, but in a kind way, because clarity is kind, okay? He said, did that really make a difference? 1 hour. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. And I asked him a question about it. I said, what was the fear? What was I believing? And I figured out that I was believing the lie that I wasn't going to have motivation later, that I needed to jump on the motivation that I had right then to do it, because I was afraid if I didn't do it in time, then I wouldn't get enough likes or whatever the stupid stuff is. Good stuff, important stuff for business, not important enough to get in the way of my Jesus chair time. And that was what I was afraid of, that I wouldn't have the motivation later. And I wept, like I cried, because the very thing that I just talked about a couple weeks ago was the very thing that the enemy tried to ensnare me with. So y'all, we have to be vigilant. And I repented to the Lord, and I was like, Lord, thank you for the truth. Every single thing that I have built so far has been in that spot with the Lord. He loves building things with me. That's like the whole foundation of a field of our own, is that we build with the Lord. If we don't build it with the Lord, then it's all for nothing anyway. So all that to say, I'm kind of getting on a little tangent. Bear with me. Is that if you can figure out the answer, what do you burn for? You will expose the enemy's tactics in your life. Then you have a game plan with the Lord, and it just takes practice. I just taught today on the art of emotional resilience inside the Joy Revival, and I tell my members, it takes practice to become resilient. It is going to take practice for me to see that the fear is coming to attack me. I would love to invite you to sit with this question this week. What do I burn for? Really sit with the Lord. And even if there's something that comes up, just listen to his voice. If you don't know how to do that, we cover a lot of things on how to learn how to attune. The Lord is always attuned to you, according to Psalm 139. But there's ways that in our brain that we've been given, we can learn how to attune to the Lord's voice. I have a whole teaching on hearing from the voice of the Lord and what that means. There's so much stuff is in there. I would really encourage you to sit this week with that question. What do you burn for? When you get the answer, it will open up so much for you. When you get the answer, just consider it could even be a little bit deeper. Just sit with it. Like I said, you'll know. As soon as I said I burn for freedom, it was like Every single thing started like locking into place. Again, my abstract art, you see it in my abstract art. I feel so free when I'm doing my art. When I'm in my worship music, when I'm singing a song, I feel free. There's a state of freedom that I just thrive in. I want to be in that state all the time. And it's in his presence and it's in his joy because he's glad to be with me. So sit with that question, see what he says. When you have your answer, thank him for it. And it will totally change your life. I promise. As always, you are always welcome to join the Joy Revival. It's a 14-day free trial. And we would love to get to love on you for a couple weeks. You don't get charged at all. In fact, if you want to cancel before the 14 days, that's fine. But we would love to have you there. And I bless you in your discovery of your burning. See you next time. Thank you so much for being here with me on the Joy Revival podcast. I'd love for you to subscribe and share this with a friend who needs a little hope for today. And remember, joy is your inheritance and it's yours to walk in every single day.